Hey tribe, how are you? Megan Lynn here, Spiritual Empress in the house. How are you? I wanted to do another story time because I got a couple people who said that they like story times, and I'm trying to do those a little bit more. But it's so funny because I have like a couple things I want to talk about. I kind of want to do today. I wanted to do my swingers one, story time about swingers clubs, when I used to have like swingers for friends. So I just wanted to do like a story time of one of our wild nights out. So this will probably have a part 2, but I just wanted to do a funny because, oh, Aquarius, the things that we do and the places that we go. Kind of ridiculous, but because of that, because I've been so open-minded about a lot of things, I've experienced a lot. So for those of you who are wondering, how the hell did I get hooked up with swinger friends? So when I was in my early 20s, this is funny, this will be a two-parter. So this is actually before I was 21. So my sister ended up, this is how I met, we'll call him Derek, and his girlfriend Ashley. So I received a phone call from my sister one day. She had called me, it was like this number I didn't recognize. She had called me and then told me that she had been in a car accident. Like her car, basically, she was on the freeway and I don't know if she wasn't paying attention or what, but she overcorrected her car and it like swung into the median and stuff like that. So it seemed like a pretty bad car accident. She was pretty rattled. So of course, first thing she does is call me, which would always piss my mom off because I was the first one. Pretty much, honestly, if you're an Aquarius, you're pretty much the first one everybody calls because they know you're gonna show up. So, but anyway, I get this call from my sister on this unknown number, and she says, "Hey, I'm on the freeway. Can you come pick me up? Because I was also the closest, located the closest to her." So I ended up rushing over there. We get there, so it's there's paramedics. She's sitting in an ambulance. They're checking her out, making sure that she's okay, because she did end up needing pills and stuff like that for back pain, because she ended up getting really bad whiplash from her car, swinging around. So anyway, the car was off the side of the road. I go to take my sister home, and they ended up taking her in the ambulance to the hospital. So I had to go to the hospital. So when I went to the hospital, I ended up showing up. I asked for my sister's room where she was. There's paramedics all around and stuff like that. Well, one came up to me, Derek, we'll call him. He came up to me and I said, "Hi, you were at the scene with my sister?" And he said, "Yeah." I ended up picking her. Me and him ended up bullshitting because we were just standing there, they're evaluating my sister, things like that. So I go home, and I think sometime later at night, I get this text from this number I don't know. And it's the same number my sister had called from earlier that day. Well, it turns out it was this paramedic, Derek's phone, and the text said something CC, basically he was making an order for needles, right? And so I texted back and said, "Who's this?" And then he said, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I texted the wrong number. It's Derek. I was at the scene with your sister today. I hope she's okay." Which honestly, I picked up right away. For people who don't know how to, Aquarius knows how to play the game. So I know that he intentionally sent that text message to me. I know that he intentionally sent that to me, and that he was, I don't know if he was hitting me up or what his intentions were or whatever. But we were texting back and forth, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you, yeah, she's fine, whatever, thanks for all your help and stuff, and letting her use your phone." Well, we kind of kept bullshitting through text message, and he ended up asking me, he said he was kind of newer to the area, but that him and his girlfriend had moved there. He just told me he had a girlfriend, but he said that he basically just really liked me and wanted to know if I wanted to hang out with him, sometime or something like that. So for me, I'm really open to new people and friends and things like that, almost to a stupid level. I mean, at that point, I was so social that I would just hang out with pretty much anybody and be like, "Yeah, sure, why not? You never know who you're going to meet or new situations you're going to get in or new experiences." So we ended up setting a time, I think later that week. We all went out, so it was me and him and his girlfriend. And it was very normal. We went to like this comedy club. Again, I was under 21, but they like kept serving him drinks. He kept just ordering them. So we all got pretty tipsy. We're at this comedy club having a good time. So yeah, we ended up staying out pretty late. We all had drinks, things like that. So the next weekend, Derek hits me up again, and he says, hey, let's call her Ashley, his girlfriend. They're like, you know, we were serious about wanting to hang out again. Do you want to hang out? And so I said, sure. He said he would pick me up. He ends up picking me up. And then we were going to stop at their place first because Ashley was still like getting ready. Well, I hadn't heard like the whole swinger thing yet. So I don't know if that was like their intention to get me to swing with them. I have no idea. I just know that we had like a blast when we were out. But this is like the crazy swinger night that we had. So we end up getting to their apartment. Ashley's still like getting ready, and then he's talking about it like as we're getting to the apartment, like, hey, just so you know, like we swing. And I'm like, oh really? I had no idea really that they did. And they got on really well. And he goes, yeah, so just so you know, like, and I said, okay, well, where do you want to go? And I'm not gonna say the actual club that he took us to, but yeah, it's basically a swingers club. So if you guys want to like Google it, it's a whole thing. There's a whole like swingers community pretty much in every city. But he basically they wanted to go to a swingers club, and I was like, oh, okay, well, look, like I'm not into like that. I'm not going to be like doing anything. And they're like, no, like it's tons of fun. They're like, you honestly would be really popular there, like we can already tell, and like we want you to like be there and kind of like wingman for us. So I decided to go with them. We were going to go to the swingers club, right? So we get to the swingers club. I can say, so this place is like, so again, I'm under 21, right? So you can bring in your own liquor there. So Derek opens the trunk of his car once we get there, and he goes, okay, I just want to kind of like preface you, they're not even going to card you. But we brought our own liquor. You can like bring it in, you can come out, you can refill your cups, whatever, like pretty much anything goes here. But I just want to let you know, like, it's also, there's a lot of like stuff that goes down at these clubs. If you guys have never been to a swingers club, like, go look at them. There's a lot of extracurricular activities that go on there. So he's like, I'm gonna make you a drink. If you want any more, just let me know. I'll go back out to the car and, you know, fill drinks. So we end up going into this club, right? It's pretty mellow. So the first floor, I'll kind of like describe it. The first floor is just like any other club, right? So it's like any other club, and there's like, it's so funny, there's like a raised dance floor with poles that actually get used later in the night, and then there's like this small bar area, and then there's like slot machines, there's pool tables, like all this stuff. So it's all the makings pretty much of a standard nightclub. So we go sit down and we start to, you know, have drinks and stuff like that. And they're like, just so you know, like, you're more than likely going to be approached. Like, you're probably the one of the best looking people in here. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And we, I think not 5 minutes later, we did get approached by a guy. And so apparently in the swinger community, I already know like the appropriate lingo to like not offend people, to let them know I'm not interested. But yeah, we were, the three of us were a big hit. But yeah, right away we got approached by this dude, and you know, he sat down and he looks at me and he goes, oh, I just wanted to know, because apparently when you go in threes, people assume that you want a fourth person participating in your activities for the night. So we started getting approached right away. You know, they'd come over and say different things like, oh, you know, is four a crowd or whatever, and then usually it'd say, honey, four is always a crowd or something like that. So yeah, it was honestly, so as the night kind of wore on a little bit, it starts getting busier and busier, and then around like 11 o'clock it gets really ratchet, so we kind of wanted to get out of there. So it was funny because my friends were sitting there. I made this like really good friend. He was like a quadriplegic, and he was just like smooth as hell, like just the stuff that he would say. And like, if you guys are familiar with Aquarius, we don't judge, we don't, you know, and this kid like had game, and he was a freaking handicapped. Like, it was very, very cool. He was very funny. So I was just having a good time like bullshitting with this dude. But anyway, so my friends I needed to use a restroom, and my friends were like, well, do you want to go upstairs? And I didn't know that an upstairs existed, because at this point we were just kind of having like a regular night, and they go, well, yeah, we'll show you. Okay guys, so when you go upstairs to this club, that's where the bathroom is. So you had to go past this other floor upstairs to get to the restrooms. So we start heading up the stairs, and they're like, okay, just so you know, like there's different like rooms upstairs, and you guys can guess what they're for. I could say like nothing really like shocks me. That's an Aquarius quality too. Nothing shocks me. I'm very like open-minded. I don't judge, and I can say with swingers are some of the freaking coolest people because they don't judge. So we went upstairs, and they were basically showing me these different rooms. These are different rooms, like you can have a certain amount of time in them. There's all kinds of different rooms. There's like a swing room, and there's like a mirror room where it's like just wall to all mirrors. There's like all these different kinds. There's kinds that look like just standard hotel rooms, things like that. So I'm walking, and then there's also rooms where you can watch like into other rooms, other people in other rooms. So I'm like looking at this kind of like mind blown, because the lighting's all like weird and dim, and like it feels very like sleazy, but it was like probably one of the most interesting places I've ever been in. So we end up going into the bathroom, and then like, you know, I asked them if that's like something that they did, because that's what they do. You go to the swingers club to pick up people and, you know, do your thing, whatever. So we end up going back downstairs. We kind of enjoyed more of the club scene, and then I ended up disappearing because I had to go to the restroom again before we left, and I ended up, there was like this old couple there, and they were like just the cutest looking older couple, like well, not older, they were probably like in their mid-50s. So they're sitting there, and I was just waiting for the bathroom, and I ended up talking to this couple for like a half hour. So my friends had assumed like I had gone into a room with somebody or something like that. I was actually just up there talking to like this old couple. So this is like me. I don't do like usually like the typical thing people would expect. But yeah, I just got lost in conversation. They're a super cute couple. So yeah, we end up staying for a little bit longer. So when activity starts to pick up, so there's like about a time there. There's a time at this club where things will start to get kind of out of hand. And it's kind of a completely different vibe. I don't know what it is. It's a little bit more, I don't want to say hostile, but we decided like we're gonna like move on from there. At that point, I'm pretty buzzed, whatever. But then they tell me, oh, we have this friend, and it's his birthday party, and it was in Tempe. And they're like, let's go over there. So we end up going over to his friend's house. I said, okay, look, is this like a huge ass party? Because I have to work in the morning, because I had to work on Sundays, but I had to work like way later on Sundays. So if you guys are in property management, that's just like how it is. And so he's like, yeah, no, it's real chill. There's only gonna be about maybe 10, 14 people there. Like, that's it. It's a big house. They've got a nice backyard. Like, it'll be very chill. So we end up getting there, I think around like, we actually had gone to that club like pretty early, and I think we got to their house about 9:30 or so. So I just started mingling. They had this like keg there. So for me, if you guys don't have experiences with actual kegs, like a keg for like 10 people is kind of ridiculous, but they also had like all kinds of other things. It was like this dude's birthday, so they like went all out on alcohol and stuff like that. So I'm there, I don't know anybody, so I'm trying to kind of mingle, get to know people. I'm pretty chill in those kind of situations. So we're hanging out, and then at about like 10:15, 10:30, I'm gonna say, holy shit, it was like all the local high schools or something had let out, and everybody swarmed to this house. So I don't know how the word got out. This dude was not of high school age. So there's like underage kids there. There's like 18-year-olds there. I mean, I can't really say anything because I was underage. But anyway, people just start pouring in. Now, if anybody knows about Tempe in Arizona, Tempe, Arizona is like well known for being like a party college town. Like it just is. There's just a lot of partying that goes on there. I'm gonna tell you, like, no less than, so we were in I think this house is like a 4-bedroom, right? We're in this house, and slowly people start trickling in, and at first I was like, oh, it's getting a little bigger, that's cool, like, whatever. No, after a while it became a wall-to-wall sea of little children underage drinking. I guess I was one of them. And I mean, you couldn't even move, and there's probably 300 people there. So it started to get really just like, I mean, apparent that somebody was going to call the cops because the amount of, I mean, just occupancy standards, it's dangerous. So I couldn't even find my friends. I ended up talking to some other people. Couldn't even find my friends. Finally, they find me outside, and they were like worried because they couldn't find me either. And I was like, look, you guys, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like, this party is going to get busted. This is Tempe. Like, cops are already looking for parties. They're already looking for underage drinkers. Like, we got to get out of here. And for some reason, my friends were like not concerned with this whatsoever. You know, we were all kind of enjoying our time, but I kept being insistent, like, we have to get the hell out of here. Well, it turns out, I don't know, it wasn't really that long after I kind of called that. The cops were called out. The cops were called out, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show. Look it up. It's like legit. I was tipsy at that point, so like I didn't know where I knew this chick from. But there's this television show called Police Women of Maricopa County. So that's like my county that I'm in. But yes, so cops had already been called. Everybody starts trying to leave. Well, in Tempe, they try to get every single person who's underage drinking. Like, they will line everybody up, and they will like bust every single person. So like business is very good for them in Tempe. So I walk out of the party. Of course, me and my friends get pulled over, like pulled to the side right away, right? Well, Derek is legal. Derek's like almost 30. He's like legal. His girlfriend, did she get a ticket? She got a ticket because no, I think she was 20. She was 21. Never mind. So yeah, it basically came down to me. So like his car was stupidly parked like right out front. So we had to go right in front of the cops to get to the car. So this lady pulls me aside. I could not figure out where I knew her from. I just knew that her face looked super freaking familiar. So she sits me down on the sidewalk. It's like all these teenagers and like, you know, all the ones that are in trouble, they're all basically like lined up on the side of the road. So we had to be like sitting there. They're like, don't you move. Like if you move, like it'll get worse. So we had to hand over our IDs. I was so pissed, you guys, because I didn't realize this till later, but the woman cop, she was a total asshole. Like, and I get why cops can be assholes because people lie to them all day. I lied to her. So you don't know what to do. Like, you're like young and whatever. So anyway, she ends up writing me a minor in consumption, which is a ticket you can easily get off your record. But she gives me a minor in consumption ticket. And anyway, I didn't realize this till after, but the police women in Maricopa County, she was one of the women in that show. So that's where I had like known from her. I didn't realize I had somebody like, I guess, semi-famous that wrote me that ticket that I got in trouble in Tempe. So I was honestly really, really pissed because this was a whole 2 weeks before my 21st birthday. So I'm getting an MIC 2 weeks before my 21st birthday. So that pissed me off a little bit because then you have to go to all this like training and stuff like that. So once I get off, I have the ticket. I called my then ex at the time and was just like, hey, just so you know, I got a ticket. And then the swingers don't give a shit. They pop a beer in the car. Like, they don't care at all. And I was just like, fuck it. Like, we're going to another party. And I couldn't believe it because in my drunken head, I think that I thought, like, I assumed, hey, you can't get another MIC in the same night, right? So we're already out. Let's go. So we go to this other house party. This was a very, very, it was like a 2-story house. It was huge, packed to the max, same kind of thing. We ended up staying there for like a couple hours. Now, swingers don't know like when to stop. They don't have like an off button, and this is why other than them being freaking awesome and like super open-minded and like non-judgmental and fun, like they can be like way too much fun sometimes. So about, I think, I told them, I think about like 1 in the morning or something. I was like, look, I have to work in the morning. And they're like, that's cool, crash at our place. And then we'll take you home in the morning. And I was like, okay, that's cool, whatever. I was like, I just have to be to work by this time. So we end up leaving the party. I think it was about 1 in the morning. I think I had to work around 11, 10 or 11. I don't know. It was miserable. So anyway, go back to Derek and Ashley's place. Now, their roommate happens to be up. Now, their roommate is from the Dominican Republic. So, like, all my best friends are from foreign countries. Like, one of my best friends from Ecuador. I have friends from Argentina. So, like, for me, and I grew up with, like, Hispanics and things like that. So, like, for me, my Spanish is pretty good. So, anyway, he's from the Dominican Republic. We roll to the house at, like, 1:30 or something like that. We're trashed already. And so his roommate saw me and we ended up bullshitting in Spanish, and so he decided he wanted to like liven the party up a little bit because we were gonna go and crash or whatever. Well, the Dominican Republic, this is before it was even legal here, they love their absinthe. So if you guys don't know what absinthe is, it's very strong. It's a very strong liquor, and it's very pretty though, and it tastes like licorice, I guess. I'm not like a licorice fan, but he's like, oh no, let me give you a special drink for my country, whatever. And at this time, it was still illegal in the U.S. So we get the absinthe out. He gets like this sugar cube and Q-tips, and he lights it on fire. So it looks like you're making like straight up meth, right? So he makes us a drink. Now, it is very strong. Go Google absinthe, and it is super, super strong. I took that shot at like 3:30 in the morning, knowing damn well I had to be work, I think, at 10. So we ended up, I think, crashing at around like 4:30, and then I had to get up and leave. And so I woke up, I think, about 8 or something, because I honestly, I can't sleep at people's houses anyway. Like, I just can't. So I woke up at about 8. That was the worst freaking, like, I don't know if you guys would, if you wake up and you're like still drunk. This was like that to the nth degree, and I'm like 20, so I can usually pull that shit off. No. I was so out of it. The stupid ass absinthe knocked me on my ass. And I ended up going home, and then I had to pull my shit together, get dressed, and like go to work for the day. But I can say that's honestly why I stopped hanging out with swingers. They're a lot of fun, but they do not know when to quit. So yeah, if you guys have any like swinger experiences or swinger club experiences, yeah, drop comments, like, shares. But yeah, swingers, I could say, are like super open-minded. So if you guys ever have a chance or like want some really like crazy experiences, I don't, because I'm like old now, definitely look for the swingers. And it's so funny because I'll tell my friends about these clubs and about like what their lifestyle's like, and like a lot of people here like just don't know that they exist. So yeah, if you guys want to hear more story times, I'm gonna do another one. And then yeah, just comment, like, share, things like that. I was a little bit bored today, but I'm gonna be really busy next week, so just enjoying being bored. If you guys want personal readings, anything like that, or want to drop funny comments about your experiences with swingers or things you want to hear about, just let me know. So I love you guys. Thanks so much for the support. I noticed we've had like a bigger following and stuff like that, so it's very, very cool. But I love you guys, and we'll talk soon. Bye.